Check one. Thank you. Peace, everyone. It's such an honor to be here in such a room of beautiful black people. I am so grateful. My name is Kepra. It means transformation. And I was asked to come and do a little bit of grounding. So before I do, I just want to get a sense of who's in the room. Just by a show of hands, or maybe stand up. I want all the violence interrupters to stand up. To stand up, and let's give them a round of applause. Yes, 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 we salute you. I would like to also know if there are any outreach workers in the building. Any outreach workers, please stand tall. Let's collectively add to that round of applause. I would also like to know if there are any credible clinicians, any healers and therapeutic service providers, any wraparound service providers. Keep the applause going. Any administrators, any drivers, any bookkeepers and accountants, any leaders, any program managers. Who did I miss? Any supervisors, any lawyers. Shout out to legal aid. Yes, stand up. Anyone else who provides a wraparound service, you better stand up. You better stand up. Let's not be afraid to stand firm in what we do. Any leaders of the organizations in the building, stand up. Without you all, there would be none of us. I just want to acknowledge you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And if there's anyone I left out, it's only because I forgot a role. But it's not because you're not important. As a matter of fact, a lot of us wear a lot of hats and have many roles. How many parents are in the room? Just raise your hands. Okay. How many people take care of their elder parent in the room? How many people are looking after siblings in the room? How many people have other jobs outside of CMS, like they do other things? You run businesses, you're leaders in organizations. So what I'd like to know is who's here right now. Because when you wear so many hats, you have so many minds. And with so many minds comes so much thought. And so you come in the room and the question is, are you here with me now? Because here is the only place to be. Now is the only time. This is your only moment. If this were your last breath, this is where you would be. And your eulogy would start with, they were at this event. And so now is the only moment, and so I'm going to ask you to be fully present. If you're thinking about anything like, oh, I wonder how long this is going to be, you're in the future, which doesn't exist because it didn't happen yet. If you're thinking about what you had to do yesterday, or who offended you, or how come they didn't tell you you could speak, or how come nobody called you to get a seat, then you're in the past, which is over, which also doesn't exist. The present is the only gift. Please be here now. You are meant to be here because you are here, and I acknowledge you, and I couldn't be here without your energy. So I just want us to be fully present. If you have the inability to stop talking for just a moment, I want you to be aware of your inability to self-regulate. We are peacekeepers, yet we are not at peace. How many healers in the room? Everyone should raise their hand. If you've ever had a cold, you've nursed yourself. If you've ever nursed a child back to health. If you've ever nursed a loved one or said some sweet words that made somebody feel good, you're a healer. But the body can only hold so much stress, right, sister? The body, even for healers, right, Sister Dixon? You can only carry so much. It is a scientific fact that the cells can only hold so much weight. That's why we say, what is the matter? Because matter is anything that what has weight and takes up space. What is the matter? What is it that we allow to have weight and take up space on our minds that causes conflict among us? We are peacekeepers and healers, and yet we bicker. We fight. We don't agree. We get angry. And all of that just means we're out of alignment. Just like a car, it drives really well, but a couple of potholes, a couple of shootings, and after a while, you need a wheel alignment, right? Because you're not going to be able to ride well, and every now and then you might hit somebody else, even if not on purpose. How many people know what I'm talking about? And so today we're going to get tools. We're going to learn how to heal ourselves. We're going to be reminded of who we are. And so before we begin, I would like to pour libation. Don't laugh at my little libation. I went to Whole Foods, also known as Whole Mortgage. And I I just want to do a libation to the ancestors because this exercise is about grounding. And what does it mean to be grounded? It means to be stable or to be balanced. They say that you should put your feet in the earth. You know, when you wear a lot of rubber, you actually interrupt the electromagnetic flow of the earth. So I think I'm going to take off my shoes so I can be fully grounded. That's why they call us earth, right, God? Right, King? Yes, because we help to ground. My little socks. So, getting grounded. Our ancestors who have returned to the earth are also in the ground. They're also in the trees. That's why people laugh at people getting grounded when they, like me, go and hug a tree and I feel my great-grandmother in the bones of the trunk. How many people have ever hugged a tree? Yes, I will tell you. Try it. If you ever feel depressed, if you ever feel sad, if you're ever working with someone who needs support, take them to a park, walk them in the sun, and let them find whatever tree resonates with them and let them just hold it. And you'll be surprised at how much you can release into the tree, how much it will absorb from you. The same way that when you ground electronics to prevent a lot of excess electricity to prevent fires. Well, we're combustible if we don't empty out at night. How many people have gone to a shooting response in the last 10 to 15 days? Or the last 30 days? How many people have been on the scene responding to an emergency? Do you empty out when you go home? Do you ground and get rid of all of that energy before you start the day? Or do you bring it home and then bring whatever was home back to work and you're in this vertiginous cycle? So, getting grounded. I want to give all praise and adoration to the ancestors, for those who paved the way for us to be here, for those who sacrificed their life so that we could be free, for those of us who were taken from us abruptly, but who are now angels in our midst. I want to give thanks and praise to the ancestors. And when I say three, I want all of you to speak aloud the name of an ancestor who resonates with you, who has guided you and still guides you today. 1, 2, 3. Ashe. Let's do that again. Another name. And I'm going to say my father, who transitioned a couple of months ago, Robert Kears. 1, 2, 3. I think our ancestors deserve a little volume. You know, earlier y'all was loud, like, yo, what up? How you doing? So when I say 3, I want you to speak aloud the name of an ancestor who still resonates with you. 1, 2, 3. Ashe, ashe, and amen. And so our ancestors are spiritual and physical. They are not only in the earth, they're in the midst. So we know that anyone who's not in this building but who is breathing is alive, correct? That means the breath is everywhere at the same time, or omnipresent. And if there is no breath, there is no what? Life. That means the breath is the source of all life, which means the breath is also omnipotent or all-powerful. And when I feel stressed, you know, or I'm in trauma, people say, take a what? Take a breath, breathe, relax, calm down, which means the breath helps me to tap into the supreme intelligence that's available to all of us. And so the breath helps me to tune in or get in a zone. So the breath is all-knowing or omniscient. And so when I think about something that is ever-present, omniscient, all-powerful, I think of God. And no matter what you believe, there's only one breath and we all share it. No matter what you believe, the breath actually has no beginning and no end, just we do in the flesh. So our ancestors are also ever present. So when we do this grounding, I want you to think about how you can share this with others, but more importantly, how you can give more to yourself. So, somebody left a treat. All right, so I'm going to sit. And for those of you who are not sitting, I'm going to ask you to stand erect. You know, when I think about the Nation of Islam, and shout out to all of the NOI and FOI in the room, I love when they stand up because the back, the spine is erect. You know, when the spine is erect, that means that the lungs are open and you can get more breath. And when you get more breath, you actually tune into God in you. So I'm going to ask you all, the peacekeepers, the violence interrupters, the leaders who are standing, to just put your shoulders back, suck in your gut, and hold up your chin. Would you just do that for a few minutes? Would you take your hands out of your pockets? Would you stand tall and hold space for those who are sitting? And for those who are sitting, I'm going to ask you to raise your antenna as well. To put things out of your hand, to take a moment to be mindful that this is the most powerful thing that you can do for yourself. This is your gift, your present. And so, I'm going to ask you to do something, whether you're sitting or standing. I want you to lift up on your toes and then let your heels down. Lift up on your toes and let your heels down. Lift up on your toes and let your heels down. What that's doing is it's just making the body present. It's a little bit of grounding. If somebody's ever stressed out, have them sit down and just do that. It starts to take their mind away from whatever just happened, which is in the past, or whatever's about to happen, which is in the future. It's all about grounding them. And now with your feet firmly on the ground, I want you to curl your toes and then let them fan out. Curl your toes and let them fan out. And I want you to be aware of whatever conversation is going on in your head. Who's talking to you? Is it the mother? Is it the father? Who's talking right now in your head? Who's not allowing you to be present? Tell them to go somewhere and sit down and have a seat and be here. Be here now. And so as you're sitting, I want you to first look up. Look at your eyebrows. And notice when you say that's not possible, look up at your eyebrows. And I want you to feel the tension in your eyes as you do that. I want you to think about your desire not to do it because it's actually uncomfortable. And I want you to look up and take a deep breath as you do that. This is another somatic, traumatic exercise that actually helps to shift the body and the mind. So take a deep breath in and look up at your eyebrows. And now exhale, keeping your eyelids up. And as you begin to flutter or blink, it's actually signaling the body that you're about to rest, that you need rest. Take another inhale in and exhale and close your eyes. Oh, doesn't that feel good to close your eyes now? And just relax the muscles around your eyes. I'm going to take you through a little bit of an exercise with your eyes closed. I want you to allow yourself to relax your body. I want you to bring your attention to the breath. And I want you to notice how when you breathe in, the breath feels cool. And when you breathe out, the breath feels warm. And just allow yourself to breathe in the cool air and exhale the warm air. And if there's any other thought that's coming, anything that's distracting you, it's okay, let it go. And just come back to the cool air that's coming in and the warm air that's going out. And now I want you to imagine that as you're breathing in clear white light, and it's coming in through the nose. Thank you. It's coming in through the nose, and it's going up into your head, and it's actually shooting out of the top of your head this luminous white light, and it's spinning around above your head. I want you to see illuminating white light spinning around above your head. And I want you to see this light continuing to spin until it envelops your face. And feel the warmth of the light on your face. Relax the muscles in your face as you feel this clear white light, relaxing all the muscles. Let your tongue relax. Let your jaw relax. And allow the light to bring clarity to your mind, to bring ease to your face. Take a deep breath in. And when you exhale, I want you to see this light just traveling down your body into your heart. And allow this light to envelop your heart, to relieve stress, to remove blockages, to remove the weight that's been on your heart. Just allow yourself to breathe in and breathe out slowly, and allow the light to just fill up your heart so that you can forgive, so that you can let go of what really doesn't matter. Take a deep breath in and allow this white light to travel down into your belly, where your gut is, where your digestive system is. If you've had any challenges with confidence, if you've been feeling unsure, allow the light to fill your belly. See your belly filled with light, and allow it to bring ease to your body. And now take another deep breath in and allow this light to travel down to your seat or your throne. And allow yourself to gently rock to the left and to the right. Allow yourself to gently rock to the left and to the right. As you allow the light to fill your body, to crown your seat, allow yourself to gently rock to the left and to the right. And any noise, any chatter in the background, I want you to just allow that to be absorbed in the light. Allow that to be absorbed in light. Take a deep breath in, now stilling the body, and allow the light to travel down your legs to your knees. To your knees, and give thanks for the knees that keep you moving and walking. Give thanks for these limbs that allow you to stand and to sit and to serve. And allow your legs and your knees and your shins to be filled with light. Take a deep breath in and allow the light to travel to your feet. And see your feet as they're planted on the ground, illuminated in light. And allow all the stress, all the toxins, all the negative chatter, all the imperfections and impurities to just leave the body through the feet. I want you to see the earth actually pulling all that no longer serves you into the earth and leaving your body. And just take a moment to sit enveloped in light. Allow yourself to breathe in deeply through the abdomen. And when you exhale, allow yourself to breathe out a little longer than you breathed in. When you do that, it lets the body know you're safe because you're exhaling. And now take another deep breath in. And this time I want you to put your hand in front of your mouth as if you were blowing fog into a mirror, and open your mouth and do that one more time. Take a deep breath in and open your mouth like you're fogging up a mirror, and exhale. Now this time you're going to do the same thing, except you're going to put your hand over your ears so that you can be present to the sound of the ocean. Take a deep breath in. Put the palm of your hand over your ears and exhale. And just notice what comes up for you. Notice any judgments. Notice any thoughts or chatter. that keep you from being here, and allow yourself to recognize that all of those things are meaningless. The only thing that matters is now. Take a deep cleansing breath, and when you exhale, you can slowly open your eyes. I want to thank you for being present for yourself. I want you to notice when you might have been distracted. I want you to be present to the judgments that you might have about the process. And remember, the body is like a child. If you let your body run the show, you will never have divine alignment. As we do this work, when you start your day, allow yourself to get centered. Allow yourself to scan your body and bring breath and light and life to your body. And when you come home after doing this work, allow yourself to release. Get in water, put your face in the sun, hug a tree, drink some water, but most of all, be good to yourself. And if you find that you're in conflict with anyone, even yourself, take a moment to get grounded, because it's either in the past or it's in the future, but the only thing that matters is right now. Thank you very much.
Y'all give it up for Kepra. We like to call that segment Healed People, Healed People. We're still at capacity, so raise your hand if there's a chair by you, because we have to get folks from the back into chairs. I know there's not many, and we're going to try to work some things around to address the capacity issue, but we have a full program, so we're going to keep moving. So I'm going to bring up Tamika Mallory. Let's give it up for Tamika, y'all. Let's give it up for Miss Erica Ford and Mr. A.T. Mitchell.
One, two, 1, 2. Okay.
What's going on, family? What's up, family? What's good, family? There's still chairs. I see them, and I see jackets hanging over the chairs. We have to be able to get the folks who are in the back of the room seated so that we can get more folks from downstairs upstairs. There's also a youth group on the way, and we want to make sure that we can accommodate them. So we need everywhere in this room where there's a chair for someone to be able to sit in it. And for the folks that's standing in the back, I know some of y'all look real good standing up, but we need you to sit down so we can get other people in this space. So if you're standing and there's a chair, please take it. There's seats here in the front. If we can get, I guess, about 2 to 3 people to come to the front. There's nobody sitting here. There's one seat on the front row. I need folks to physically move. Physically move, please. Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. Let me just say, on behalf of Until Freedom, we contacted Brother A.T. and Erica maybe about a week and a half ago, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, saying that we had this space available today, and that we wanted to share the space with our CMS family and other frontliners from across the city. And they jumped right on it and said, yeah, we always need an opportunity to meet and to have what we're doing in terms of a convening. I was thinking of some words that I wanted to write in a post today, and I wrote down that we are reinforcing the blueprint, spreading love with one another, and also just gearing up our minds and hearts for the war that our people are out here dealing with every single day. And all of you who are in this room are part of trying to heal and fight with and for our people. And I just want to personally say thank you. I grow every single day because of you. And everywhere that I go around this country, when people look at me wondering where's my home, this room is what I show them to let them know that our work is not just some theoretical thing, but it's actually something that we built. And you all are a part of that. We're building it together. So thank you all so much, and thank y'all for the work that it took to make this happen today.
Can we give Until Freedom, Tamika Mallory, Jules, Mice, Angelo, Linda, the whole Until Freedom team? We really just want to say thank you. Because this is nothing new to them, because they are a part of all of us. And peace and blessings. We say Hotep in Brooklyn anyway. But Hotep, everybody, peace. Tamika is interestingly, I think she flies around the world too much and dates sometimes mistaking her. It wasn't 2 weeks ago. It was yesterday.
It was 2 weeks ago when I called and said I had the space. I didn't call back with the details till 2 days ago.
All right, I'll do my sister. No, because it feels like, honestly, like yesterday. And just to see the overwhelming response to, how we can come together. Give yourselves another hand clap for that. Because there's some people in the city and state and nation and actually across this world that question our getting together. And we show up every single time like this. This is nothing new for those of us who've been around for some while. And in this particular portion, we wanted to, the three of us wanted to just briefly just talk about that, the humble beginnings and our, estimate, our understanding of it all. Because we have a lot of versions, there's a lot of remixes, and it should. There's a lot of different opinions, and everybody has a right to that opinion, because everybody, has contributed to this. This is not three of us. It's actually, I wish we would have had a screen. It would have showed that it talked about we built this shit, right? And that's the name of this segment. But it wasn't about the three of us building it, but a capital W and a capital E that included everybody in this room. And there's some of us, of course, that added along the years. But we wanted to just really have a conversation, right, Erica, about just those humble beginnings. And so, why don't you start?
Mic check 1 2. I'm just an MC. I'm down with Salt and Pepper. I'm the Paprika. And that's where it all started, on the block in Queens, with Salt, right, adding the peppers. And actually, Tupac, right? I sat in my living room, part of the we at that time was Supreme from the Supreme team, Chaz from Black Hand Entertainment, Tupac, Stretch, and some other OGs, and we talked about how do we work with those young people that nobody else wants to work with, right? And we started the Code Foundation. And then we brought Tupac to Queens in 1994. And he talked about how he was going to, bring other artists involved, but working with those young people who are on the streets, who might have a skill other than shooting each other, right? How do you secure the block, right? If you are, who's going to be the accountant? Who's going to be the lawyer? Who's going to be the person that's looking out? There's a lot of jobs on the block. Just put it that way, right? And we started building from there. And then we started building, 1998, we did the Million Youth March, where we had 150,000 young people in Harlem before any of these things came to life, right? And we had to go house to house, door to door, handing out flyers, right? Brother Arthur, he was there, right? And so the we is a lot of we's inside of here, definitely, right? And from there, we connected and we did Bury the Beef, where we took caskets inside of the schools. We went on tours in the jails with Chaz and Black Hand Entertainment. The brothers in the jail, some of them here right now from Shawanka, helped write up the plan, right? We were in the jails working with the brothers and sisters, raising more money from the brothers in the jail than on the streets. And from there, doing Bury the Beef, taking the caskets in the streets, we then said we had a VIP team, Violence Intervention and Prevention All-Stars, right? We got a video to go along with it. Go on our YouTube page and you can see the history, right? And there's a lot of weeks, because Eric Adams was a senator at that time. Malcolm Smith was the deputy mayor who blackballed me, right? And there was a lot of history in that, because those who speak loud often get pushed to the side, right? And so we went to Sharpton. We talked to Sharpton about how we get this work to be acknowledged and taken into the thing. We went to the city council. They said, yeah, help them, but don't help them, right? And so Fatima worked with us. She told us what they said. She worked with us, and she helped us build our presentation, right? And then we went back again. This time we went to the state side. The state was like, they want to do Snug, give it up for the brothers Divine, Lance,
give it up.
to write the Snug
Yes.
program, right? They wanted to do, and that old white lady from Chicago, who me and her did not get along
Dr.
at all. She
King.
wanted to do what she wanted to do, and I wanted to do what we wanted to do. And you know, she had the check, so she won, right? And they did Snug, and they did Snug in a couple of sites. At the same time they were doing Snug, or a little before that, they tested out Cure Violence, right? We didn't know what the fuck a Cure Violence, and I don't give a fuck what Cure Violence is, right? And I say that today, and I said it the first day, and everybody here that was there,
That's what you said.
that's what I said, right?
She's consistent.
Because to me, because I had Cure Violence. Right here, this was the streets, right there, Sergio. That was my street operation, right there. We all had a job. Giant was the person who did the physical fitness. Terry Williams was the health and wellness at that time. That was even before Kepra, right? We had Fam who did the college tours. Tamika and them over at National Action. We had a crew, right? And our thing was to bring the crew together. We had a sister from Voltron, Isis. Right? The Decepticons or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Decepticons. Gang. Right? And we said we bring in our VIP team. They were like, no, you got to do one org. And so they did the model. It was a couple of, they did the model. And then we stayed full court press on the city. And in staying full court press was an event like this at NAM. Christine Quinn walked in. I just happened to be on the platform, and I said, everybody give a round of applause to Christine Quinn for starting the Violence Prevention Task Force, right? And she had no idea that she was getting ready to start a task force, but she had to start that task force. That task force gave birth to the New York City Crisis Management System.
That's, and if I can...
And there's some revisions that need to be made.
Yeah, go ahead.
Even to what Miss Erica just said.
And again, this is good because everybody do have like their accounts and their. But she
it was
a chronological order is definitely intact. She included like so many others that was pivotal. And a lot of times, and I say this to a lot of us. I don't know where you were at that time. We're talking early 2000s. Like 2007, 2008, and 9. But I can tell you where we were at that time. We were together. So if you think back in 2009, 2008, ask yourself whether or not you was involved in this work. And that's not us just trying to pull any rank or card. We're just trying to, let everybody understand that. And a lot of us that have been in this activism for some while, we always ask for this. We always want people to get down. But there's only very few that are, many are called, but few are chosen. And so we understood that then. But there is definitely, again, I know our system's consistent, but I was one that was very appreciative of Cure Violence. And at that time, called Ceasefire. Because when Dr. Candace came to us, right, Lance and others, we were skeptical too, because like she said, we was doing our own thing. We New York, And the thing was that they had something out there in Chi-Town. We like, well, we New York. We 3 times the size of Chicago. But we had to look into it because they were very hard pressed, like you said, on the state. We needed something that had evidence, they needed data. And this was, understandably, but we were like, nah, we got our own VIs and our own people. And so we got on a plane, we went out there, we did look into this. We went and we observed, we stood on the outskirts like how y'all are, and we observed. And what we saw, I mean, before our eyes, I was blown away, personally. It wasn't no acting. These were brothers, sisters that came from the streets and working in the streets of the city of Chicago and some of the most hard-pressed areas in the city. And these men and women were on the first line out there at that time. And they had order, a little more order. And I was like, you know what? We need that back in New York. We need this back. At least give us the frame. They loaned us their frame. And for me, anybody lends you something when you are in need, to me, I think they deserve, to be respected and appreciated. And when I applied it in Brooklyn, my history started different than the Code and those others, but in East New York and Brooklyn in the 75th, where y'all already know, top tier 1-5 precincts all the time, AKA murder capital of the city, and now they even got CBS got some shit called East New York, right? But when we applied it to that neighborhood, what I loved about creating jobs for people like us, that was a game changer. I was able to approach some of the men and women that's still in this room that's on my team to this day with an opportunity. And as she said, look at the job opportunities that have come about as a result of such.
Leadership.
Like on the real. So my counter response to my team was like, because hey, T, what are you doing? You ceasefire drunk. What are you doing? Like, you bugging. We New York. I'm like, I don't give a fuck where the help comes from. Hello? If you ever been in a bad situation in a hospital, you needed medicine, hello? Did you stop to ask the doctor, yo, excuse me, by the way, where's this medicine made? Where's it coming from? You should, and my sister says she does now, and she should. But I use a different one. You're in the bathroom in the morning, you're brushing your jibs. You never stop to look at the tube and say, well, let me see where this toothpaste is made. We didn't give a sugar honey iced tea. We used it because it worked. And so that was my mindset. And I'm glad I did, because they did lend us something that has changed the game in New York. It definitely allowed us to jumpstart and to get the funding. Because before then, and I think we would agree, like we were hungry. We didn't have no money. And they was giving out a statewide grant worth $500,000. Like, that shit sounds like a lot of money back then. And so we took that $500,000 and we made it grow and continue to grow. And I said, when the state dollars absorbed or dried up, we kept our foot on the neck of the city, Bloomberg and Quinn and all of them, and we forced them to create a task force. And then out of that task force, we met our good brother Jumaane Williams and Frank Cabrera, and they chaired that task force. I was able to meet my good brother Kay Bain, who reminded me
to be a rapper at that time. He wanted to be a rapper. Remember, he used to talk to me every day about being a rapper.
But
Mike Chill, we got to do a duet.
prior to, I didn't know any of that knowledge, but I do know that I was super impressed to see him working at City Hall. My brother was like, he was reminding me of myself, because I formerly worked at City Hall, and they worked their asses off for the task force. Because you recall, we had to deliver. And that's, again, a big part of the history. But Tamika, what about any accounts you can recall?
Yeah, because Erica said it like it was so nice. Like, I went to see Sharpton and then I went over here. Nah, that's not exactly how it happened. So just to, there is each one of us enters this work from our own space. And I want to make sure to reaffirm anyone that may be sitting here in the spirit of our sister Kepra Kears, who's helped us get centered and grounded, that when you hear the story or when we speak, when we're not perfect in terms of how we deliver things, that there may be a trigger that goes off in you that makes you feel like because we were there from 2000 and whatever, wherever you entered the work is not as significant. And that is not in any way what we are attempting to put forth today and relay. The point is that if we don't know our history, where we come from, we will never be able, one, to respect the path, also to teach the path, and then to know what the path looks like going forward. that hopefully someone in this room is able to take it and make it even better than where we started. Because we had nothing, now we have something, and we also have more brilliant minds, we have technology, we have the next who being developed in this room. So I just want to make sure that if it feels like there's anything that makes you tighten up, loosen and know that you are so very important. Because without you, we wouldn't be where we are today, where some of us can travel the world and say we built a thing, because you didn't have to believe in it, right? To do the work that you do every day. Also, the way that we all enter is different. So for me, we were so engaged at my organization at that time, National Action Network, in police accountability work, I couldn't even see or understand what was happening with gun violence until my son's father was murdered. That was 22 years ago, 22 or 21 years ago. He was shot and killed. And so I wanted to be clear that when I first met Erica and AT, it was not a nice experience. I met them standing up, and they were we were inside of the House of Justice, doing a program with a bunch of elected officials and otherwise in the room. We was on a high because everybody who was supposed to be there was there, and you know, of course, different speakers coming up, and we kicking ass and taking numbers about whatever the issue of the time was. And Erica and well, really more so Erica, let's just be honest, stood up in the middle of the rally and started going off about how y'all.
She did her norm.
She did her norm. Consistent. Say what you want. Consistent. She stood up in the middle of that rally and said, y'all talking a whole bunch of things about these kids out here are dying. And it's nobody up here that's committed to it. Y'all ain't doing this. Y'all ain't doing that. And of course, you know, again, we're more healed today than we were yesterday. So I immediately was like, what's she doing? Like, why's she doing that? I was little, so I wasn't going to really do anything. But, you know, I had the spirit, like, what's she doing? Like, why's she doing that? This is not cool, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, I went to the back, and I remember having a conversation with the leadership, different individuals, and they were like, well, you know, she's wrong for coming in here and shutting down the program, but some of what she's saying, we got to listen to. And so I took the time to sit with the two of them and learn more about what it is that I didn't know. And Erica and AT were very clear with me that you're in a position. You're in the room with these people, and what are you talking about when you're in there? You in there just trying to be, you know, in the number and just trying to be cute and, you know, and keep your job, or you gonna make change? So they put pressure on me. And I took that pressure home and felt like, first of all, y'all not gonna challenge me. Like, I can do this. I can go in the room and speak up. But what they did was they gave me purpose. They gave me something that wasn't about what the older folks and the others had created, but they gave me a lane that ultimately became my own lane because of my personal story. And so I took that, and the next time when Erica says that she went on the stage around the Christine Quinn issue, when Christine Quinn was standing there, and Erica was like, oh yeah, you know, you're gonna handle this campaign or be the one to introduce the New York City Violence Intervention Program. What the part that she doesn't tell you is that we tracked Christine Quinn in the room. You remember that? AT, you don't remember that, do you? We did. We tracked her in the room because we set it up beforehand that she wasn't going to be able to get out without a follow-up conversation to commit to what Erica had done to her on the stage. Now, my boss didn't know that until later, so I would have probably been fired, but we did. We made sure. The next day, we went to breakfast. I went to breakfast with Christine Quinn because prior to that, I was real cute. I was getting to go to breakfast on Park Avenue every morning. You know, I was being groomed to become executive director of the organization. So I was sitting in very powerful positions, sometimes speaking, but most times listening, most times learning. But this morning, my conversation with Christine Quinn was different. We need money for the system that we are trying to build in New York City. Here's the reason why I'm telling you this story. It was not my job to write the system. We did the protest together, which I helped organize and all of that, but I was never the person that was going to be out there in the middle of the night. I mean, we did do some stuff, but it still wasn't me picking guns up and taking guns out of different people's hands. We had roles. Each one of us had a role. We had a responsibility. And so long as we worked that role, we could actually make what you see happening in this room today a possibility. But it would not have happened if my ego would have made me believe that I could be Erica or that I could somehow be AT. I was not that. I knew what my job was, and I knew what I had to do. Every single day I had a function, and I handled that function with precision. Because ultimately, we got $5 million out of a city, which before you clap, let me really make you clap, because I want y'all to clap for me for this. I also had a responsibility to push my boss, because my boss, Reverend Sharpton, was busy. And he already had his vision for what it was that he's fighting for in this city, and that was to change the police department, which we have seen several iterations of that happen over time. He was doing what he had set out to do. But I was in the room with him saying, this is important. We have to make every space be a dual conversation around public safety. So he got the lingo. And what he said was, hey, that's not my thing, you go do it. And I give you full reign. I got him to set up a meeting with Mayor Bloomberg for Erica and I to go to. Bloomberg sat dead in our faces and told us he wasn't going to do shit. That's what he said. He told me before I left the room, and don't run for office yet until you find some money, because you'll end up stealing. I swear to God, this is what the man told me. You could get yourself in trouble for stealing money. That's what he told me. It was on the verge of Malcolm Smith getting arrested, and it was a lot happening in the city. He wasn't trying to be nasty. He was just trying to say that people find their hands in the cookie jar when they haven't gone out and built up their business. So I'm just sitting there looking at this white man like, okay, you think you sunning us and sending us away. And Dennis Walcott was there. He was but he wanted us to win. He wanted us to win, Erica. We ain't gonna argue about this. But anyway, I was like, okay, he thinks he's sunning us and sending us home, like he's educating the young people on what he ain't gonna do and how we need to structure our lives and how we can win and this and that. I took the things he said. He talked about data. He said there was no data to prove that the system we were trying to build would ever work. He said gun control through legislation was the only way forward. We said, okay, what was happening at the time, and I'm almost done, was that Christine Quinn, de Blasio, and all these other people were running for office. Now, we could have left there and said, Bloomberg says he's not going to give us no money. We at a dead end. But we didn't. We said, okay, they're running for office. You can't get the vote without the black vote. So we're going to make this an issue. That's how the caskets got on the street. Just to be clear, because we don't want you... Well, it was before that, but I guess, let me correct myself. How I got involved with helping us to make that visible was to bring the caskets outside, because the worst thing people running for mayor wanted was dead body appearing to be dead bodies moving across the street across the community, and they didn't have a position on gun violence. So by the time we went back to Christine Quinn, it wasn't like, well, maybe I'm going to see this and that. She was like, how much money do you need? It was $5 million to start. The other day, I was telling people $40 million, and I checked in with Erica to make sure that number was right. And it's actually more than $100 million.
Now you can clap.
That started from zero. Right. Now you can clap for that. Because that's the work that it took and the process to get us where we are today. But $100 million is not nearly enough money to save lives. And so this conversation is not just about where we came from, but it's where we are going and how we will multiply and multiply 100 million, not just for New York. Because I'll be honest with you, New York is cool, but I'm not trying to just be the New York activist that when they write my story, they say we just did it in New York and it was great. Across the world, they can take what you all are helping to build. And
Which is why I'm stuck on the New York model.
That's
because
right.
what happens is, right, when you see them doing these models across the thing, it's like, I don't gotta go to New York. Because they kill violence. So that exists over there, and we're not. This is the New York City Crisis Management System. It comes from the FEMA model, where it's preparedness, recovery, response, and mitigation. Right? And we all fit inside of that. And as Tamika said, as we bring the czar on, because he's AT right now we're going to take it to where he became the czar, right? And it's because elevation is what we all want to do. And we all have a lane. And we got to respect each other's lane. And what is God given to you will never be taken from you. I remember me and AT used to be like, why is Tamika all the way over there doing this and doing that? And I was like, well, that's what we told her to do, right? But you gotta be grounded in your greatness. Because if we look around, there's no other city like us. I don't want to be Chicago. I'm gonna say it until I'm dead in the grave. We are not Cure Violence. We are the Cure Violence is $500,000 out of maybe a site might have 3 million. If you're a large site. I don't know what sites have. I don't even know what I have, right? But if you're defining yourself of $500,000, you can't. You can't. We are the New York City Crisis Management System. We made New York City the safest big city in America. We made a week in New York City where no one was killed. We made a weekend in New York City where no one was shot. And shot. No guns went off. We all thought we was calling each other because we thought the system had broke. Y'all remember that? But it didn't. It was our work that whatever it did, right? And the AT is the czar because you gotta have somebody that's inside this system that's working alongside of them constantly, as Tamika was, right? Telling them what we need, bringing them back on course, fighting for us every single day. And you might not see what he's doing. He's going to break it down. But we just got to be okay with just knowing he's got our back.
We're done. We want to move things along, and don't be long-winded like me, please, to the next speakers. I just want to say publicly, I'm really proud of you, AT, because you have taken a beating from me and Erica for a long time, and AT has remained humble. And the only thing I want all of us to know in this room is that it's a tool of white supremacy to feel like you so jealous of your brother or sister for rising. That is a tool of white supremacy. They taught us that. They taught us that. Let me stand up so I can say it so everybody can see me. They taught us to be jealous of our brothers and sisters and to not help one another. So if you see AT doing something and we need to help him, we need to encourage him, let's be that. Let's not be the ones that say we're fighting white supremacy and we become those who are upholding what white supremacy does in our communities. Let's do better because we know better. But sometimes we don't do better. And so, brothers and sisters and ladies and gentlemen, as we hear from our czar today, let's listen to him with open hearts and open minds and figure out what we can do to make sure that the entire world knows that this family that we've built, that we are going to uplift and make sure that everybody in this room is whole. God bless y'all.